Today, I'm going to teach you how to talk, how to speak so people stop in their tracks and listen to what you have to say. I'll give you 3 big ideas, break it down into smaller ones, and I will even go beyond what consulting firms like McKinsey teach when they talk about communication. Firms like McKinsey, BCG, they are supposed to be among the best in communication, but I will give you an idea which even they don't incorporate. Most importantly, at the end of the video, I will teach you how to translate these ideas into actual practice, how to start implementing them. So do watch this video till the very end, okay? No shortcuts. Let's get started. First thing, the first big idea is to cut down on fillers. If there is one thing which totally destroys the experience of listening to somebody, it is fillers. What are fillers? I mean, I think, right. All these words which have no meaning, but then we use them all the time. Why do we do that? Because we are uncomfortable with silence. When we don't know what to say, we just keep saying, I mean, right, actually, basically. Take one example. I say, you could launch the product in the market. Just say, you could launch the product in the market. So much nicer, isn't it? But you might say, okay, it's become a habit. How do I stop myself? I'll tell you that. Second question you will ask is, if I have to stop doing it, I feel like I need to do something. What should I do? Here is the answer. Do nothing. Say nothing. So instead of saying, I mean, what do you say? Nothing. Silence. Replace all the fillers with silence, and I can assure you the impact of your speech will go up 5-fold. Next question you might ask is, but how do I practice it? Don't worry, that's coming at the end of this video. All right, so this was the first major idea, no fillers. Second, do not give a speech, don't give a lecture. Very often when people give a lecture, they get into this mode where they are preaching, telling you, this is important, that is important. It's almost like listening to a school principal. Who wants to listen to the school principal? Nobody. Again, I'm not being disparaging. All I'm saying is, we don't want to be lectured to. What do you want? We want people to talk to us. We want a conversation. Whether you're talking to one person or whether you have an audience of 10,000 in front of you, the biggest mistake we all make, even I make if I'm not very careful, is we start talking to 10,000 people. No, don't do that. Always pretend in your mind, think like you're talking to one person. Conversation is between 2 people. It's not with a crowd. All right. Next, let's talk about language. Just to sound grander or a little bit more pompous, we start using big words. The company should change its strategic direction and get into the high value market segments where software has a higher profit margin. Instead of saying all that nonsense, just say the company should sell software. All these words, strategic, direction, value add, value chain, I'm not saying they are totally meaningless, but very often without those words, communication is so much nicer, straighter, sweeter. So look at all the words, any big word, any technical word, any jargon, see if you can chop it and make it simple and direct. Next thing, let's talk about variation. Now imagine if I keep talking to you in the same manner, if I keep going on and on and on, after some time what will happen is you'll become brain dead. Versus sometimes if I speak fast and then when required I slow down, and once in a while when I'm talking I just stop and I give you a break, some silence. What happens? First thing is, when there's variation, now you're a lot more focused because we want variety, we want novelty. Second thing is, silence is very, very powerful. When we don't know what to say, be it fillers or be it, maybe just want some time to think. It's okay. If you stop talking for a few seconds, people will not run away. In fact, when I go silent, now you are paying just as much, if not more attention. So variation, silence, simple language, and always one-on-one conversation. You might have a stadium of people in front of you, but you are talking to everybody one-on-one. Simple, but a very powerful idea. The third big idea I want to talk about is content, substance of what you're talking about. Now, simple idea, but still, I'll share. When you are saying something, you better have something to say. Quite often, we talk because we have a mic, like if you have been to government functions or any kind of public functions, the people are with a mic, they'll keep going on and on. They have nothing to say, but they have to give a speech for 10 minutes. Don't do that. You have a 10-minute slot for speaking, but you have substance only for 1 minute. Speak for a minute, thank the audience, give the phone back or give the microphone back. People will love that. Next, how do we structure what we have to say? There is a book called The Pyramid Principle by an author called Barbara Minto. She was a McKinsey consultant. And when I joined McKinsey, they gave us that book. And if you want to learn about structured communication, how do you build an argument? How do you make it very logical, very easy to follow? This book has some excellent ideas. I'm not saying you have to read it, but if you feel like it, that's something you can practice. Even without that book, start making logical arguments. Imagine you were trying to shape the argument. Forget about the words. Just think about the core of it. If A happens, then B and C and D will happen. This is an argument. Or we should do A. As an example, India should export more software because of 3 reasons. Software is more profitable. We have that skill set. And number 3, we have a lot of unemployment which can be solved for. So we should do A because of reasons 1, 2, and 3. There are many ways like this to have structured argument. Again, refer to the book or practice with people who are good at it. So now you can talk in a more structured manner. But that's not enough. Like I told you, good consulting firms like McKinsey, BCG, Bain, their people are very well trained to make this structured argument. But there is something that even they are missing. What is that? If I want to persuade you to take some action, I have to appeal to you not just logically, but also to your emotional mind. I have to grab you by your neck and evoke the right emotion in you. If I am angry, I have to be able to make you feel the same anger. If I am sad, I should be able to make you feel that sadness. If I'm happy, I should be able to make you feel happy. If I cannot do that, we will not connect. I will not be able to persuade you. So now the question is, okay, how do you invoke the right emotion? One very simple idea. Storytelling. I write very often on LinkedIn, and what I have found is when I'm able to communicate the point through a story, people remember that. It just makes 5 or 10x more impact than just saying A, B, and C are important or you should do X. Versus tell a story and then they'll say, oh yeah, I should be doing X, whatever that is. Real example here. Syrian war, which went on for a very long time, and more than 500,000 people died. It was going on and on, lakhs of people had died, and yet the Western countries and the world they were not paying a lot of attention. Really nothing much was happening. And there was one incident, one child, one young kid, he died. His name was Alan Kurdi, and you can check on internet or Google, you'll find this was a 3-year-old kid, beautiful child, the kind of child that you and I, we can relate to. We can think of him or her as our own niece, nephew, son, daughter, whatever. And there was one photo in which this kid is lying on the beach, face down, his body is facing down. And it looks like he's sleeping. He's just relaxed, sleeping very calmly, the way you would expect a kid to sleep on a bed inside the house. And tragically, he was dead. When people saw that photograph, and this kid did not die in a war, this was the parents were, or maybe the family was trying to flee, and they were coming as refugees, and this is when it happened. And when people saw that news item, that one death, tragic as it was, it made a much more impact than like 500,000 people who had died otherwise. Because of this, countries in Europe, they lowered the immigration barriers. They allowed people to come in. The story of one single death was more powerful than 1 lakh or 2 lakh or 3 lakh people dying. That is the power of story. So start practicing storytelling. Now, putting it all together, all these ideas, I just told you what to do, but how do we do it? For that, let me now share my own personal story, how I learned. I'm not saying I'm perfect or really good, but how I got better. If I look at my videos, which I've recorded maybe 3-4 years back, I see myself using fillers, especially the word right. And when I see those videos, I just feel terrible. I don't want to see them again. But something interesting happened last year. So in 2020, I was just starting HabitStrong, and we've been doing a lot of live sessions on Zoom or Google Meet. And in those live sessions, when I would be talking, I could see myself on the screen. And whenever I would use words like right or I mean, any of those things, I could sense how terrible it feels. I could just see it. And I would just feel that pain of seeing myself say right or you, I know, or things actually. And when I could get that feedback immediately that, okay, you know what, I said right, don't do that. And every time I would say something like that, it just gives an instant reaction and my mind would stop doing that. And after some time, I found I became much more comfortable saying nothing, just being silent. So here, the key lesson was when you get immediate feedback by seeing yourself talk, maybe on a Zoom call, it could be very much in front of a mirror or maybe just talking to a friend who's going to give you feedback. Feedback is what will help you course correct. And I would say Zoom call or a live session where you see on screen, that's the best. Second best might be doing in front of a mirror. Third best would be, let's say, with a friend or a group of people who can give you feedback. So here's what I want you to do. All the theory I gave you, it will have no value if we do not work on it. So tomorrow, or if possible today, I want you to pick one topic, prepare something that you want to talk about for 3, 4, 5 minutes, and stand or sit down in front of a camera and practice it, and then find the mistakes and fix it and try again and again and again. And then you will find, I promise you, I have experienced myself, with practice over weeks, the use of fillers will go down. You'll be able to tell better stories. Emotions will be better. You'll have ups and downs, and it'll be amazing to listen to you. It may sound like a dream. It's not a dream. It's absolutely doable. Just do it for a couple of weeks. You'll see the impact. And by the way, subscribe to this channel. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe.